You've been in the program for around 6 months. Your revenue when you joined was anywhere between $2,000 to $3,000. And your revenue now on a monthly basis is above $12,000.
I was spending a lot of time doing outreach that just wasn't working. Like I was doing cold email already, but my messages just weren't working. Just barely kind of scraped together some clients. Yeah, I joined Client Ascension, and I mean, you guys just kind of gave me the roadmap to take it from there, and it's been great ever since, man.
What's going on, guys? Andre Hickle Jr. here from Client Ascension, back with another student spotlight interview. Here with my man Josh. What's going on, brother?
Hey, Andre, how's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
Of course. So we're going to talk about some of the wins that you had or are having as an active student here in Client Ascension. But man, an even bigger win is you being an Eagles fan. So I just have to point out you guys just won the Super Bowl. So congrats on that. I bet that feels just as good as any business win.
Oh, dude, go Birds! It's the best feeling in the world. Let me tell you, this is our second one, but the parade is today, and I'm jealous I couldn't be there. Based in Phoenix right now, but man, yeah, it's a great feeling.
That's awesome, man. So let's just jump to business. You've been in the program for around 6 months. From what I've read, your revenue when you joined was anywhere between $2,000 to $3,000, and your revenue now on a monthly basis is above $12,000. So huge growth that you've seen in just a couple of months. Tell us a little bit about that growth, and also like baseline, what do you do? Like, what is your business? Who do you work with? What do you help them with?
Yeah, for sure. So I help medical spas and aesthetic practices book more appointments on the calendar. So we do a little bit of everything for them. We run their ads for them. We call their leads for them. We book their appointments for them. When I joined Client Ascension, I was spending a lot of time doing outreach that just wasn't working. Like I was doing cold email already, but I couldn't get any resonance with the market. My messages just weren't working. I'd like just barely kind of scraped together some clients from this like 14-day trial offer that I was doing that didn't attract the best types of leads anyways. And so I was kind of just working like crazy, just making, yeah, like you said, like $2,000, $3,000 a month. And then, yeah, I joined Client Ascension, and I mean, you guys just kind of gave me the roadmap to take it from there. And it's been great ever since, man.
That's awesome to hear, bro. So let's just break down the story piece by piece. One of my favorite questions to ask is like, how do you even find Client Ascension, and why was it the right time to join? Why did you decide to join?
Yeah, for sure. So before I joined, I was probably watching Daniel's content on like a daily basis. Like I'm one of those leads that like it took a while for me to nurture. You know, I was probably like 6 to 12 months in the pipeline, but I was watching a ton of Daniel's content. Something about the way that he teaches just like really resonates with me. And so yeah, I was watching a bunch of his stuff, and I think I always kind of had Client Ascension in the back of my mind as like I wanted to do. Like I've joined a lot of coaching programs. I've joined a lot of courses. You guys were the next most logical step for me, at least. It just got to a point where I was struggling for long enough in my business, and I was like, I need to start doing something different. Like there's a missing piece, even though I've been through all these other programs, and like there's something that's missing. And so I took the leap of faith, and I reached out, and I think I talked to Peter, and he was super helpful in kind of introducing the program and everything. And it's been great.
That's awesome, bro. I'd love to understand that mindset a little bit more, because we've seen that time and time again where someone enters into our funnel either through subscribing to one of our social media platforms or buying one of our lower ticket products, and then it's months before they decide to join. Like during that time, is it like you're trying things out on your own to see if you can get them to work? Or is it like you're saving up to get ready for like a much larger investment into your business? Like what's the mindset during that phase of like, I'm aware of this, but I'm not yet ready for it?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, for me, it was more of a matter of just like, I was taking the stuff that Daniel was teaching in his videos and just kind of implementing it piece by piece. And I would see evidence of things working. And so that was super helpful for me. And I think also just naturally, I'm the type of person that likes to kind of consider things for a while, I guess. And so there was just a long period of time where I was just going through the content, but there was just also something about like the way that you guys teach and the methodologies that you guys teach in Client Ascension that just like, it really clicked for me. And I think I had like, obviously I'm super grateful for all of the different programs and things that I've been through, but there was just like, there's something about the way that you guys kind of orchestrate everything that just made so much sense for me. And so at a certain point, I was just like, all right, it's time to do this thing. Like it just makes sense to move forward with you guys. And so yeah, I think it was just a matter of it took me a while, but then I eventually realized like, what am I doing? Like, I just need to jump in and join. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, bro. That's awesome. And so when you joined the program, like what were some of the things you found out really early on, like you needed to do? Like what were some of those early wins, right? Like one of the metrics we track in the coaching business and really in any business is, I think it's more of a SaaS metric, but it really relates to any service-based business, is time to value, right? Like when someone
Mhm.
signs on, you want to get them value as soon as possible. Like what were some things that you got value from early on into the program?
Yeah. So first off, for me, the biggest needle mover for me has been having a student success coach. Like I work
Yes.
with Andy, and dude, it's unreal. So I've been, like I said, I've been in a ton of these, and like there have been student success coaches in other programs that I've been in, but like the level of support that I get from Andy is just unreal. Like it pays for the program within itself. So that part was a huge win for me, just having somebody that I can lean on. Also, just having the Slack community there and having all the different coaches to lean on has been such a huge help. Like being able to always have somebody to go to that I can ask a question, or like there's never a reason for me to not know what to do next. You know what I mean? Like I have that, the roadmap is kind of laid out in front of me. And then I think from like a tactical standpoint, the biggest driver that I got was just on offers. Like all of the stuff that you guys have on offers has been so helpful. I've always kind of known like how important the offer was, but I think I was scared to make like a ballsy offer. And you guys kind of showed how to do that in a tactful way and in a way that works for your business. And that was just that was a huge missing piece for me, like the way that you guys teach to do that immediately. I mean, like I said, I was sending cold emails before. I started to implement some of that stuff that you were talking about into the stuff I was already doing. And immediately it was like the reply rates are going up and things were just going so much better. So those are the two big things for me.
Yeah, it's always cool to hear like the offer being like an eye opener for people, because like I said, I've done close to 100 of these interviews at this point, and it's always the same thing. It's like I started following you guys, I started implementing a couple of things, started to see that this stuff actually does work, and then I went all in by joining the program. And then when I was in the program, I started going to the coaching calls and I started working with the SSCs. And then I started, doing things like fixing my offer and learning sales and starting cold email and doing Dream 100 outreach. But like the offer is the one thing that I feel like everyone just thinks their offer is fine.
Yeah.
And they're always trying to fix other parts of their business, like outreach and sales. But it's like no good outreach system or no good sales process can fix a bad offer. And like people, I feel like they overlook the offer. It's like they think it's just some really simple thing where you come up with the offer, check the box, and move on. But there's so much that goes into it. Like you're saying, like how do you put an aggressive offer out to the market while still protecting the downside through like having a guarantee that is like fixated on them doing certain things, right? Like what Daniel teaches.
Yeah.
So that's really cool to hear, because the offer is like that's everything. That decides whether or not the business is going to be successful. Obviously, you as the business owner has to drive that offer to success, but you have to be in the right opportunity vehicle, which is your offer at the end of the day. I guess as a student in the program, yeah, like you started to mention like coaching calls and working with Andy. Like I guess what did your day to day look like going through Client Ascension, just to give the audience an idea? Because like I feel like the way we do our coaching program, like there's a lot of the same that other programs do, but there are some things that are unique as well, just based on how we've designed it with the coaching calls and the Slack and the SSC. And then you have the pre-recorded training videos and access to over 20 expert coaches. Like how did you like use the program early on?
Yeah, no, and I think so. I've learned so much from the way that you guys do business to implement into my own business as well. And so one of the big things that I just found so helpful in the beginning was the Trello roadmap that Andy
Yeah.
kind of helped me go through. So like that was my day to day. Like for a while, it was just going through. I mean, you guys have it laid out basically. I think it's like the first like month or something. Like, and like you were saying, the speed to value thing. Like it was immediate. It was like I know what to do on every single day to get this rolling. I know what I like. Every single piece of the pie is kind of just laid out for me, and I just need to follow the steps. And so obviously nobody can sit down and build your agency for you, but you guys are like the closest thing to like done for you agency, I feel like, as you could possibly get, because it's just like follow the steps, attend the coaching calls, get help when you need help. And yeah, so my day to day was just basically doing exactly what you guys were telling me to do, and I was just chugging along that way.
That's awesome, bro. Yeah, the Trello board is game changer because it makes it brainless. It's like, here's all the things that you should do in the first 30 days. And we're extending it to 50 days now, just because
Yeah.
the feedback has been so good on like, wow, like the first 30 days was a breeze because it was all mapped out for me. I just had to follow the steps.
Yeah.
But that's great to hear. Like the experience working with the coaches has been great.
Mhm.
And yeah, like we want to make it brainless because there is really like a set thing, a set amount of things that you should focus on in the first 30 days. Because also part of the feedback we would get early on is like it was overwhelming because there's so much in
Mm.
Client Ascension. You can get help with offers, sales, marketing, fulfillment, operations, hiring, and it's like not all the things are relevant for you yet. And so like how do you get the student early on to focus on the things that they actually need at that time? That's what the Trello board is there for. And then one thing you mentioned I love because this is what I do. I join other coaching programs to learn how they run the coaching program. I don't even care what they're teaching, right? Like
Right.
I just want to see how do they onboard me as a client? How many calls do they get me on? What do they do on the calls? What do they do if I'm not, active? Like do they message me to try to get me back? Like how are they adding value? Are they doing like random acts of kindness, if you will, like sending gifts? And like how are they running their business? Because that says that I learned more from that than anything else. And I run the in-person events at Client Ascension as well. So like when I go to in-person events, I'm not even like really paying attention to the speakers. I'm like paying attention to how they're bringing it all together. Like how long are the breaks? Are they playing music during the breaks? Like how many speakers do they have? Do they have a specific structure, the types of topics that the speakers are talking about? What kind of food do they have? Like I'm paying attention to all those details. So I love that, bro. Like you're looking at how we run our business and imitating that because there's just as much learnings and just that than there is in all of the videos and the coaching calls that we have. Continuing on, what were some of like the big wins that you started to experience early on? Like obviously, like the biggest win going from I think again it was like a $2,000 to $3,000 a month range to now $12,000 a month with your agency. Like what were some of the milestones leading up to that?
Yeah, I think for me it was like, so first I there were a lot of pieces that were kind of broken about the way I was doing things before. And so every single day it kind of felt like I had some kind of win because it was like, all right, I'm going to implement this thing into my cold email. And then all of a sudden it's like, I talked to Christian, he helps me with writing the scripts and everything. And now all of a sudden my scripts are working a lot better. So I'm getting more replies and more responses. As soon as I start getting the more responses, it's like, all right, maybe the lead quality isn't good, so I can go talk to this person about that. And then they say, hey, you should put these questions in your Calendly or whatever it might be. And so there was just so many small wins along the way. And then for me, it was just like I would struggle to scrape together like a couple calls a month. And there was a point where I think I had a month with 14 calls or something like that. And so obviously for some agencies, like that's a small number, but for me, that was like 14 opportunities. Like I've never had this many opportunities in a single month. And so it really started to click. And then just everything, man, like it was, it increased my pricing. Like it's just, I started to do all the things that like I kind of knew I should have been doing before I joined, but it's just like the accountability, having Andy there to motivate me and kind of help me with all that. And then being able to go and talk to every single one of the coaches, hopping on with David to get yelled at about sales a couple of times, it's always great. So no, it was just so many wins along the way. There's too many to count.
That's awesome, bro. Yeah, I love how much you appreciate that relationship with Andy because Andy is an A player. Like he really is.
Yeah.
We're blessed to have him on our team here at Client Ascension, and he's not like other success coaches from other programs because he does come up with new ideas, and he's not just like support. He's an expert at Client Ascension. So like
Yeah.
when you need help with certain things, he can point you in the right direction. And that's valuable, especially when there's so much to go through and so much content available to you. Like how do you sift through it and figure out what's most relevant to you right now? Um, but
100%.
anyways, yeah, I love Andy. We could talk about him all day. But anyways, uh, great to hear about some of those, big milestones leading up to your success. I guess what has been your experience in the actual community? Because one of the biggest values I see at least is just the quality of students in the community and the deals that happen in the community and the partnerships that happen in the community. Have you been pretty involved with that, or like what's been your experience there?
Yeah, no, this is pretty topical for me because so I definitely haven't taken advantage of the community as much as I would like to, but just recently, I was talking with another student and like I just found out that there's like a little clique of local business agencies as well. And so for me, it was like just connecting with other students has been so helpful. I mean, there were some students in Client Ascension that went to the same college as me, and so I'm like, there's just it's cool to kind of bring everybody together that's like-minded like that. And I mean, the community's been so helpful in terms of getting answers to things pretty quickly and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's like now I have a call that I can go to every single week as well, for where I can go talk to people that are running agencies just like mine, and so we can kind of just mastermind and think about different things. And so that has been so huge. And it's like I didn't even know that was there, and now here it is, and like I can just go talk to those people. It's amazing. It's so awesome.
That's it, dude. That's it. Yeah, I love to hear that. I love when students are connecting with each other, because that's where the biggest breakthroughs happen. So that's great to hear, bro. If you're, I guess, speaking to a past version of yourself, or even just agency owners that are out there, like since going from 2 to 3K to now over 12K a month with your agency, like what advice would you have to someone that's just getting started? And I always caveat this with, other than joining Client Ascension, because that's obviously, the best advice you could give is to join Client Ascension to grow. But outside of that, like what are some big learnings that you have experienced recently that you'd send back to someone just getting started in the game?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is like for me, the biggest thing has just been always kind of redirecting my time and focus to marketing and sales. And so there's so many like things that you can get bogged down with, and, side tasks and fires to put out. And I mean, this is a big idea in the book, Ready, Fire, Aim as well. But it's like nothing really matters in the beginning other than marketing and sales. And so when I look at my calendar at the beginning of the day, or at the end of the day, and I'm, prepping my calendar for the next day, it's like, how much of this is marketing and sales? And if it's not enough, like how can I move things around, or how can I push some tasks off to my virtual assistant or whatever, to make sure that I can just fill my time up with as much marketing and sales as possible. Now, with that said, I think something else that I learned that was super important as well from you guys in particular is that like your online reputation really matters. And so like people are going to Google your name, people are going to look up your business name. And I think that was one of the things that I really missed when I was trying to do this before, is like I didn't have content. Like I didn't have things where people could go look me up and see that I was a legitimate business owner that knew the things, knew what I was talking about. And so as much as I can say like marketing and sales really matter, also thinking about those other things as well, where it's like, what is the customer journey? What path do people take to find out about me or do research on me? And that's why stuff that you guys teach, like the VSLs and the content frameworks and everything, has been super invaluable as well. But yeah, I would just say marketing and sales, that's been my biggest thing, is just trying to figure out ways that I can just focus more on that in these early stages, so that I can have the problems later on of hiring and leadership and all that kind of fun stuff.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I love to hear that. I always say, like, business owners, their entire job is to build a team around the different systems in the business, so that they can go and pour more of their time and effort into like advocating for the company. Like you need to go out and talk about the company with people. That's like the role of the owner, is to just go talk about the company with more people. And that is, I mean, essentially sales and marketing, right? That shows up in different ways, whether it's going on podcasts, creating content, going to networking events, doing outreach. Like you need to be the number one spokesperson for your company if you're the owner, CEO, founder. And the only way to do that consistently at the scale that you need to be doing it at is by hiring, and by building systems around other parts of the business. So anyways, Josh, that's an awesome story. I know as well you're just getting started, and in 6 months from now, I'm sure we'll have an even bigger story to tell here. But what are your plans for this year? Because we're talking early into 2025. Do you have any, like I guess in Client Ascension we call it a wildly important goal? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I think my next milestone I'd love to hit is 20K a month. So right now, like we talked about, I'm at kind of like that 12-ish range. And I think that this is something that Daniel has talked about as well. But like the 10, 15K, like 10, 20K mark, like it's that weird spot where you have to start kind of making some hires, and you have to start finding some people to help and everything. And I found myself right now, like I'm pretty engrossed in the fulfillment and the client delivery. And so right now my plans are kind of unlatching myself from that a little bit, getting less attached to the delivery of the agency work, so that I can actually start to focus more of my time on the marketing and sales, like I was saying before. But yeah, I would say that that's the next big milestone. And I think at this point, just based on the guidance that I've gotten from you guys, it's just a matter of time at this point, just kind of sticking the course and following the straight line that you guys created for us.
That's awesome, bro. Well, I'm excited to keep in touch and follow along and also be a part of that, right? Help you out with coaching and with giving you the different resources you need along the way through the Client Ascension program. As a last question for you, where can the audience find you and follow you online? I always say if you are in Client Ascension listening to this, just shoot Josh a DM. There's nothing more valuable that you can do as a student in the program than connecting with other students. And so, spend 5 seconds doing that real quick while you're listening. But outside of CA, where can the audience find you?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm mostly active on YouTube right now just because that's been my main platform. And so I guess you can find me on YouTube if you type in my name and then Wellness Leads is my company name. You can go find me over there. I honestly I used to have a business Instagram. I haven't been super active on it before. And so leave a comment on a video or something. I'd be more than happy to reach out. That would be fine.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. Well, thank you, Josh. Keep crushing it out there. And if you guys are listening in, thanks for all the support. It's been an awesome journey over the last 3 or 4 years, almost at 100 case studies. And every single week we got new guys coming in with amazing business results. So if you're interested, you can find Client Ascension anywhere online. You know where to find us at this point. And reach out. I'm here to support and answer your questions about the program. That's all. Until next time. Thanks, guys.